was ripping my hands open, not noticing it. How long has battery got? How long does he give you? Is it the battery you're kind of limited by?
Yeah. The battery probably gives me about 6 hours.
Oh, that's alright.
Something like that.
Alright.
That's an estimate though, it's probably not very accurate.
That's not bad though.
It's okay.
This can go out in an hour.
Yeah, that would be awful.
Okay, so just start when you want.
Well, basically, I want to know what you think and how you feel about being ordered to leave the land which you've made your home on for the past 2.5 years.
Sorry.
Or being asked to. Or ordered to, in a sense.
I haven't been ordered to leave, and I don't consider it. I mean that I haven't been ordered to leave. I mean they delivered some notices. I mean, to understand that from my point of view, I have to say I don't believe in paperwork. Paperwork means nothing to me. So if someone brings a paper and says you're ordered to leave off this land, it means nothing to me, because I consider it a two-dimensional world. It's nothing to do with me, and I'm a three-dimensional being, and that's come from like someone who's written something which we all think means more than it does actually. We think it means the law, and the law, from my knowledge and experience, is totally corrupted. So before we consider anything that comes from people who think they know what the law is, you need to understand why it's corrupted, and why I can say that convincingly, knowing that it is true. And so I think the only thing that for me has happened that has made any difference is that suddenly, when we get faced with it, it brings people together a bit. And I've been kind of waiting for that for a long time anyway. But I think we need to grow up a bit and learn how to talk properly and stuff. And I think we might get the opportunity to do that. But that is based on the fact that I think we're actually staying. I don't think we're going. So, and I don't really think about it at all. It's not. It's like a lot of people have gone off looking for an alternative, and I know, it's a good idea probably, and I'd probably follow if I get chucked out. But I don't know for sure, because I'm going to keep coming back, and I don't know. I'm going to play it by ear all the time. So I'm a man who lives under a tree. I'm a traveller. And I don't know what they can convict me of. I haven't done anything wrong. And when they come, I'm going to hide to start with, and just come back when they've gone. And I'm coming back to my place. So there's not much they can take down or ruin, because there's nothing to take down really. So they can't change anything here, unless they want to kind of start putting the earth back in the hole I've dug. So it's like quite willing to do that, but I can prefer it to be left like that actually. So
what was your long-term plan or desire in this place?
What, here? Long stories. Fucking hell. Okay, look, I'll just give you a summary and then maybe talk more about it. But a summary is that I've been part of the protest movement, so count that in, right? The only way I think any change can come from any form of protest anywhere in this country is if the protest suddenly becomes serious and focused on exactly the root of the problem, not all the peripheries which everybody seems to protest about. There's kind of hundreds of different groups protesting all over the country about different issues. And they're all protesting in order with banners, and they're kind of given permission to go through town and have police escort. And, you know, tell me the last time one of those protests actually changed the law. They didn't. Nothing happens. And people still march, even though nothing happens. Nothing happens ever. It's been proven again and again and again. And we're even getting less people out marching these days. It used to be kids and families coming out marching. These days it's just kind of like groups of like issue-based protests.
What do people have to do to stop the machine?
Okay, so that it basically needs, well, you know, most other countries that have had some form of revolution, we haven't had a revolution in this country really. Something like France have had a revolution, meaning I can't think of one case where there hasn't been a group that's decided it's got to take the parliament of that country, or kind of a coup in some way. So it's a direct attack on the main structure of whoever's in power at the time, and the same here. It's not going to be different anywhere else. People have got to get it into their brains, so they have to do it and be part of it.
Do you think that should be in the form of a peaceful peaceful intention?
What you mean, without violence?
Yeah.
Yes, I do, but I don't think it's going to be easy at all. You know, so if you're fighting up against the system, then you're kind of in the face of those who are trying to defend it, and I don't know how serious that gets, because they've got an army. Now, let me just go back a bit, because I have a theory, but it's two steps. One is information, and the other is direction, and it's intelligence. It's driven by intelligence. So it focuses on and brings together those people who have the intelligence and the will and the want to do it. But it's kind of, I don't believe it can just happen. I think it kind of grows, and it's like it comes together slowly and those people who are involved in one way or another begin to realise that they're part of that. I think it's, do you know, like, there has to be someone who does it, and it has to be those who have chosen to do it, and so it's going to be a small select people. You know, well, I'm not talking about going and protesting outside of Parliament. I'm talking about doing whatever it takes to get into Parliament, and that means obviously not going along there with a gun. It means we've got to try and track down those people in the situations like the military and the police force and the other forces who took up the job in the first place for the right reasons, and are maybe still in there, and they understand the law, and they understand that they can see the same wrongs being done, who would be supportive of an intelligent force that was going to ultimately go in there and do the job.
Do you think people who, in a way, leave the system and see that as a radical revolutionary act are on the right track, or do you have to confront the system more than just not take part in it?
Well, yeah, you have to leave the system, and you have to set up an alternative system in some way that includes, this is the two layers, okay? So this is why I push media a lot, because it's key to it. It's media is about transparency, and it's also about information. So it's information gathering, and I believe whatever power comes to be has to have power over their own media. So in other words, you know, here at Runnymede, we're just beginning to kind of get to grips with doing our own stuff internally, like you being an example of that. And that that's going to grow with whoever comes, and it's going to get bigger, and more people are going to get involved in that side of things. But I believe that that's actually essential. So once you've got that established and you can see it, and you recognise that it is working on quite an immediate basis. I'm talking about TV, I think, actually, television. Then you gather whatever comes from that and move, because you're in a direction. You're moving in a direction. I very much believe in the fact that if you know what's wrong with the world, then and you know it has to change. You know that you personally have to move in a direction, and it's away from it's disentangling yourself from the system. And wherever you are on that journey doesn't particularly matter too much, as long as you're moving in the right direction. Yeah. So you're moving away from the system and into something else. So it doesn't particularly matter where you are. But because I think this place is important, and partly so, we're here on the hill by the Magna Carta. You can call it coincidence, but I actually don't think it is. I think there's a reason for us being here, and there's a reason for us being actually in these woods as well. And we're stuck between three memorials and a river down there, and the Magna Carta does represent that which grew into become democracy, which I'm objecting to now. So I'm saying what one has to do is you have to actually, I believe in stopping the system that's wrong. So I've stepped out and I'm going back to do something about something that I think is completely wrong. And whatever comes of that, what's happened here. We got this land and we haven't put anything on it. We've almost given it space. So it's like had a 3-year blessing of nothing. So it's which is, I think, really, really good. I think it's the right thing. And whatever evolves out of the space that we all learn from, because we've given it space, is going to be interesting. And that could be and represent what we move towards. I don't know, but we have had the space, and we've even we don't do democracy here. We're kind of like all kind of we're all into kind of like ourselves a bit. It's a bit
Well, that's
self-obsessed, and it's like
I think we like to avoid the isms and the terms that put tags on us.
Yeah, it's breaking the whole thing down. There's nothing worth holding on to. It's like Labour, Conservative, right, left. Who are you? What? The whole lot. Forget it. Go away. It's like you have to lose the lot and then leave a gap, and then find out what comes organically through that gap, because something will come. And I think it will be, in the end, it's going to be because we were able to start listening to each other in a way we hadn't before, and that comes through time when we learn the space of it. And if you think how Parliament operates and democracy operates at the moment, there's no time for discussions really about the fundamental things of life. They don't do that. They just kind of go on about the same fucking things. You can do the drugs war if you want. This is a perfect example, because actually they make a lot of money out of having a drugs war, and that's what they're really about, making money and not resolving the social issues and where it's come from, the source of the problem. So we should be moving into a space where we're looking to within to understand our own nature as a group, and look after each other in I'd say a tribal sense. And it's like, I don't think at the end of the day there's anything better, because those people know each other, and those people have managed to get to know each other and kind of form their own, like, acknowledge each other, and then move on, and maybe we end up doing something incredibly supportive and good of each other, for all different reasons, from kid to adult to older person, and that's nothing simpler than knowing the people that you're living with to get that support and community, sense of community. You don't get